more nerds! This week on the LARP House we have a special tutorial for you because it is our 20th episode. But first, I want to direct you to the GoFundMe page for the families of the victims of the Orlando attack. I don't really have words to describe my feelings about what happened in my home state, but I want to encourage you nerds, especially you LGBTQA nerds, to play on. Because LARP is a safe space where you are surrounded by all your friends, and we really need that right now. So keep fighting, keep creating, and be safe. And now, our show. This week, we will be showing you how to make an articulating creature mask. That is right, a creature mask with a jaw that moves with your jaw, so it looks like it's talking. Super duper cool. The creature we were making is a minotaur, and boy was that fun and a lot of work for me and my entire team because we decided to make the muscle suit at the exact same time, which we will be showing you in the coming weeks. So let's get started on that mask.
This is more or less what you want your sculpture to look like if you are making your own articulating mask. The jaw pieces have to be very separate, and you don't want, because it's going to be open like this, so just make it close but not touching. And we have the eye sockets of the creature and then holes for the actual person to see through here, and these are going to be covered up with like a see-through cloth, but this is a bull, and it is now time to make the mold.
Alright, so first we're going to start building those mold walls. You're just going to jam a bunch of clay all around the edges. Make sure you get a nice like scoop effect so that it holds as much of the silicone as possible. Just really like crush it onto there, because I've had it fall off on me before. It's not great. It's not how you want to spend an afternoon. And spray the crap out of it with some lacquer. This keeps it from drying out. Now we're going to use Rebound 25 and some Thivex to thicken it up. Just don't forget the gloves. Like I do almost every time. And it's, 1A, 1B mixture, so I'm going to start off with like a thin layer to capture the detail. And I'm not going to add a whole bunch of Thivex to this layer. This is just the detail layer that I like to do. But now, we're going to mix just a buttload of it and add some Thivex. And you got to be really careful with this stuff because if you add too much, it will inhibit your silicone from curing. I'm going to start off with 3 drops here. If you add too much of it, your silicone will remain a boogery mess for all time. Do not add too much. Starting off with 3 drops, I added 3 more. Makes it like, almond butter consistency. Slather it on. You want to fill in all of the holes basically and make it a smooth, like, conical shape so that it's easy to release from the hard casing that we're going to put over it. That's the theory anyway. Just keep putting it on. Keep on adding. If you put stuff there, put it on again. And this is the hard silicone that I had set aside. Just a stripe of it, and I'm making registration keys with it. This makes the mold interlocking and easier to keep its form, make sure it gets in exactly the right spot when you put it in and out of its hard casing all the time. Now, what I realized is that after all the registration keys are on here, which are, all cured nicely and junk, what I realized is that we have a pretty big undercut, as you can see right there, which will make it pretty much impossible to release from the mold if I don't fill that with silicone. It'll pretty much lock it in. So I'm gonna mix up some more silicone, and this time I'm gonna use cab-o-sil because you can add as much of that as you want without worrying about it inhibiting the cure. It's just like, it's a silicone deadener and thickener, so it'll be less shiny and like peanut butter consistency. Just gonna add a whole bunch of that. And you want to use a mask when you're working with larger amounts of cab-o-sil. Just plop it in there, mix up a little bit at a time. Yeah, this more. Just slather it on. Like butter and toast. Beautiful. Alright, now we're making the hard casing. I am using plasti-paste. It is a fibrous plastic. That is a paste. It's pretty, pretty intuitive. It's a 1A, 1B mixture, I believe. And it goes on all, like, weird and gel-like, but it dries opaque and hard. So you just want to make it as smooth as possible. And now we're in for the second coat. It's cured nicely. And you want to use a bucket that you can probably throw away. That's why I'm using a Red Vines tub. So we've got our second coat on there, just smoothing it out. And because of all the fibers, it's extremely freaking pokey. So you want to sand the crap out of it when you're done. Dust it off. Now we're just releasing it from its prison, from its rubbery prison. I'm gonna be careful. And we're gonna get like a weird little Scooby tool here and just clean out the mold. Just do your best. Sometimes I'm a little lax with this, but that's bad, so don't be like me. So now you see it fits in nicely, and we're gonna clean up. We're gonna start adding the resin after we, of course, put in mold release. But this is what is called slush casting. It's pretty simple. This is a type of resin that's made for rotational casting. So you can rotate it as it cures, and it'll turn into a gel, which coats everything nicely, and then harden. It's lovely. You're gonna struggle a little bit taking this out, if you're anything like me, but we got our bowl. Now we're separating it with a Dremel. Of course, you all will want to wear safety gloves, like my buddy here did not. And clean up your mask, clean the edges so it's not sharp and pokey. Sand them even further. So now we are going to talk a little bit about the little hardware bits that we're going to use here. Super fun. Got your fiber washers, 0.32 inch width. Those are important for making the job when smooth. These are 1/2 inch wood screws. Then we will be using the 1.5 inch springs. And here we just bought an 8-pack of machine screws. 1/2 inch machine screws. Here we have used 2 mending plates that you can buy at Home Depot, and the 8-pack of machine screws. We put the nuts on either side and put the washers between them to create the hinge for our mask. Okay, so you're gonna mark your place and start the hole, then place your hinge. And we can screw into our table because we've laid a piece of foam, like a foam board over it. But if you don't have that, don't screw into your table. Then do the same ass thing with the top. And then you're gonna want to cut off the sharp bits on the other side, except you're gonna want to wear safety goggles and friggin' safety gloves. Here I have precast in an ice cube mold for the first part of some resin eyeballs, and I'm painting on the goat pupils. This is going to take me about 57 coats to get it, and I kept holding it up to the light to check and make sure that no light was getting through the pupils, because that's not how it's works. Then I'm mixing up the iris part. Now, this is actual resin dye, and it was just garbage, so I ended up using just some, like, calligraphy ink, and that really worked nicely. A little bit of white paint for some coloring in one part, and so we pour them in and don't mix them up, but use your tool to make designs, and then sand off the bits that bleed over, and we'll fix the problem with the cloudy eyes later. Here I am sculpting a tongue, and what you can't see yet are nipples for the Minotaur, because we want to be as anatomically correct as possible. And also, I hate the game designers a little bit right now. So we're pouring the mold and checking it out. Everything looks good. Now we're patterning for fur on the skull. Marking the direction of the fur. It's really just like fitting as we go here. Painting in the parts that are not going to have fur on them so that there's not just like white. And here I am using friendly plastic to make and add a little jaw shelf because I did not sculpt far enough under the jaw for it to really catch and move with your jaw. So I'm adding that bit here and I'm attaching it with epoxy. Loctite epoxy is like basically the business. It's super intense. Always use gloves. You'll regret it. Chemical burns. Yikes. Here we have some precast horns that we made out of soft foam, and I am making little shelves on which to mount them to the skull. This problem could have been solved by sculpting farther back, but that would have made the mold really difficult to release, so once you epoxy it on, just clamp it. Paint on the inside of the part where the human eyes are going to be, so that we don't draw attention to the human eyeballs. We want to keep that illusion that there aren't any human eyes there going. Drill a hole, dust it off, mix up some more epoxy, add some cab-o-sil to make it into a putty, and attach the horns that way. Wait for it to cure. Now we are mixing some latex and some acrylic paint and painting up the tongue. I want it to be pretty realistic. It's going to be super fun. If like any player is going to like touch his tongue. But who knows? You don't underestimate PCs. Painting up the bone color on the horns, and then just contact cementing as we go. Like contact cement one down, pattern out the next, contact cement it down, adding a bit of a shelf there. And here we just have some final details. I literally just attached swaths of fur to the back to drape over the back of the head. I ended up brushing on with some paint, some depth, and then just hand over to my editor to sew it up for me.
No Minotaur. That's not what Minotaurs sound like. No, they don't sound like that either. These are all your victims. What do you sound like? That's not what Minotaurs sound like.
Damn it.
There we go.
Damn. What? Damn it. So there you go, nerds. A talking creature mask that can fully articulate its insults to the PCs as it murders them. Wonderful. Amazing. So, in case you haven't heard the news, LARP House is gonna be at Comic-Con! I am going to be on a panel with some prominent members of the LARP community. I will be giving away this very severed head. Deadhead Fred is a severed head completely made out of foam and latex, so he is LARP safe. He's just so cute. Just ready to be kicked around. And LARP House will be having an informal meetup at Comic-Con. Whoever makes the best costume for $100 or less will win a prize from the LARP House Etsy store. Remember, $100 or less, or else. For the meetup location and other details, remember to check our Facebook page in the coming weeks. If you like what you see on our show and you want to see more, please consider making a tiny pledge to us on our Patreon page because we have big dreams and little wallets, so that would be super cool of you. And don't forget to check out our Etsy store if you like handmade prosthetics and props. We are also on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, and Instagram, links to which are in the description. So nerds, as always, like us, subscribe to us, fight with us. Unlike RuneScape, the awesomeness that you get from compounding your awesomeness with our awesomeness will stack.